That's Not Current, and this is going to be a new series called Retro Reruns, and today I'm sitting with contributor Steve Henry. Hello Steve. We're going to be playing one of his favourite games from his childhood, and that game is on this cartridge here, which is Super Mario All-Stars. What game is it though, Steve?
Super Mario World.
Super Mario World. You've got a whole world in it now. You've not just got a wee tiny section of the Mushroom Kingdom.
You've got a map.
You have to trek all the way to Donut Land now to check if the princess is kept there.
We went full sandbox.
You've went full sandbox, FPS, 60 frames a second nonsense here, haven't we? That's what it is. Nah, it's not really. It's actually just SCART cable. That's all it is.
Yoshi's ready to go.
Yoshi's ready to go. Tell us a bit about this game and what it means to you, Steve, before we start.
So, this game originally was released in 1992, but that's maybe a bit old for me. So, I would have been born in 1990, so I wasn't exactly playing this when I was 2.
Well, I was.
Because you're a prodigy.
I'm a prodigy.
The Oracle.
Yeah, I learned like grade 8 piano when I was 1.
Classic.
-1.
So, this game, I first got this game in 1996, and it was as a bundle. So it was the console bundle, and it was this cart that came with it, and it was Super Mario World and Super Mario All-Stars. And I remember on Christmas morning coming down, and I'd been given a tent. So I got a tent as one of my Christmas presents, believe it or not. I had all my wee bits and bobs, and this was my big present. And I'll never forget setting it up. So the first time I set it up, I was like, man, how good's this going to be? Because previously, I'd only ever had a NES. So my dad had got a linear NES for one of my cousins, and my first ever game that I played was Mega Man 2.
Your first game you ever played was Mega Man 2.
So as a 4-year-old, I was playing Mega Man 2. So that gives you I don't know. That shows you the kind of difficulty curve I was up against.
Well, I mean, when I was 4 or 5, I think I was 4.5 coming on 5, I got a Mega Drive, and I was playing like Streets of Rage and games that you pretty much shouldn't have been playing, because as a 5-year-old I thought it was acceptable to eat chicken out of bins and hit people with bottles.
Well, I suppose this is why me and you have arguments sometimes over Mega Drive and Nintendo, because where Mega Drive didn't really put the blood codes or anything in, Nintendo were a bit more organised about that, weren't they?
What's wrong with blood?
No, when you're 4.
Listen, I come from a rough area of Scotland. It was when I was 4.
Do you know what I love about this game though? I love about this game the fact that when you play it, it's like, it ages so well. See the mechanics and the way it feels, it never feels bad to play.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think, see when you plug in your N64 and you go and play a game, so like if you stick on Blast Corps, or if you stick on, I don't know, pick any game for the Nintendo 64 probably, it doesn't really hold up. But I think it's the style of this.
That's the problem though. What happened was, how I feel about what happened with this was, especially Nintendo, right? Let's be honest, Nintendo were good at making bigger games rather than arcade style, which is fine, you know what I mean? Like, it's 2 different genres, they were just a bit better at it. I think the problem was there that the 3D aspect really distracted the game developers. You just died.
I know, man.
That was terrible.
I wanted the perfect run and I blew it already.
Perfect run, already dead. Anyway, as I was saying, because Nintendo were distracted by the idea of 3D, they didn't quite keep to their usual standard of making this game solid, you know what I mean? There isn't a lot wrong with this game.
Well, I suppose that would have been around about the time they were thinking about the Virtual Boy.
Oh, the Virtual Boy? Nah. Well, I mean, they should have learned from the Virtual Boy. But
they really should have.
I mean, there's nothing... This opens another can of worms, because amongst retro gamers and collectors recently, I've noticed that people really hate the N64. I mean, like, I don't.
How could you?
I mean, I have watched people stick N64s in bins and smash them up.
That would absolutely,
like, honestly,
me.
I've seen this on like Facebook groups of people who are kind of discussing retro games, and people are actually destroying N64s.
It's blasphemy.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with an N64 that isn't wrong with any other console of the time. And I mean, the console that got the most flack for it at the end of the day, well, the 2 consoles really. The Atari Jaguar got executed for it.
Destroyed.
That got absolutely destroyed because, well, to be honest, quite rightly so, because it couldn't do it properly. The games were uninspired, rushed, and basically just anything that they could try and get into 3D, Atari were pretty much happy with having on the console. Sega Saturn got slated for it, not for very good reasons. I mean, the Sega Saturn just wasn't as good at 3D. What Sega should have done was they should have put a lot more effort into making 2D games, but
Aye.
They didn't. But anyway, we're drifting off topic. The point is, though, that this game is basically a piece of art from the time, a masterclass in how to develop a game,
Aye.
isn't it?
See, if you were to give somebody this today, so this is what I always feel defines retro games as being classics. I've got a daughter and she's 5, and to me, if I was gonna teach her to play some old games, this would be the game that I would give her with the pad. Do you know what I mean? This would be the game I would give her and say, go and play that game. And what I feel would make it stand out is that she could. I reckon you could quite happily play it, and as a 5-year-old now, you would get the same enjoyment out of this as you would for a game that you would pay 50, 60 quid for. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, with limitations came, really huge achievements. Like this game, it wasn't a limitation at the time, but people would view it as, oh god, they didn't have very good hardware back then. But see, this game, it still looks great, it still plays great. Everything's colourful, and especially for kids, a kid would love this game.
To me as well, this game's one of the games that. So people sometimes say to me now, and I've only recently got back into retro in the last couple of years, so my collection wasn't really extensive and I never had it on show, but in the last couple of years I've got my own wee room and you've seen it as well. You like it?
Yeah,
my
basically Harry Potter cupboard under the stairs kind of nonsense. No, it's really nice. I really like Steve's cupboard. But
the reason I got back into retro was because of games like this, because you can pick up a game now for 10 quid, and 10 quid for a retro game might be quite expensive, but compared to what you pay for an unfinished product now, or something that you don't really know what you're getting pre-release, it's so much more worth it.
Oh, absolutely. That is why I went back to retro games, and it took me a couple of steps to get back to be honest, I'm playing proper old stuff now. I've went back to even the ZX Spectrum, which God, my dad probably wasn't even born when that was a bit. But no, it was a case of you get tired of uninspired, lazy, incomplete games, and you just seek to have the quality that you had when you were little, and it's kind of, I suppose it means a lot, really, this game to you, because really what it's done is it's inspired you as a kid, but then it's also inspired you as an adult to get back into like something you were passionate about when you were 5.
With this game, I think this game gave me a platform to go and get the skill to learn other games, because it was like me and you were talking before we started recording, but it's funny, your muscle memory for playing these games never goes away. Well, do you know what I mean? You always remember how to play these games regardless of when you pick them up.
Well, it's funny because back to me playing Streets of Rage when I was little. Right now what's happening is something I would never be able to do, because I didn't play this game so much when I was little. I just saw what you done there with it. That was good. Well done. No, I mean, I didn't play this game overly. I actually got a SNES after the 16-bit generation was sort of fading away. Basically around about when the PlayStation was coming out. That's when I got a SNES. But basically, the way that Steve's sitting playing this game just now, he's pretty good at this game. He might not be incredible speedrunner material like you see on the internet these days, but he's doing it kind of effortlessly, He's like, I know I'm putting him under pressure now. Those cheaps are gonna like munch his ass.
That's it. You've done it to me now.
No, but what I'm trying to say is though, it's all through muscle memory he's doing this, and it's as if it just comes naturally.
And it's weird, like
it's something that basically what I'm trying to say is like games like Streets of Rage, what I grew up with, I could pretty much sit and play them while having a casual chat as well and not be too distracted. And again, it opens up areas of your mind that you've not used in like years.
Do you know, it's this one level. This one level is the level where I struggle most to put something else into my attention.
I think that would make a good...
And it's because of these fish. You see these fish? Absolutely. I always hated them, and I still hate them to this day. There we go. I'm done there. That's me done with the fish.
See when Flappy Bird was around, did you not just hate life then?
Oh man. Do you know, I never got into Flappy Bird until really, really late. And it was only I was on holiday there, and Gemma's sister.
Well, you just got into Flappy Bird.
Gemma's sister, her boyfriend had Flappy Bird on her phone, and I'd never played it. And I got, his high score was like 51 or something the first time I played it. Yeah. I got 47. Aye, deviating for the point.
Cheaps are arses, that's what it is.
Do you know what I love about this game? I love the diversity in this game. So the amount of different level constructions in this game was unbelievable for me at the time. I think it was the amount of hidden stuff as well. So you had your normal levels, you had your water levels, which were kind of standard at the time as well, and everybody to this day still hates water levels, I suppose.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, that's actually an argument in itself though. How often do you get water levels now?
But this has a lot of them in it, to be fair. There's a lot of water segments in it. But what I loved about this game as well was the amount of deviation for the norm, and that it had ghost houses, which we're doing now. It had Star World as well, so I always felt like the Star World was the special levels, I suppose, because everything was different. Every level had a different concept in it, and I loved that. I loved the fact that you could go into a level and you wouldn't know what was going to hit you. Do you know what I mean? The first time you played it.
Yeah. Aye, the very first time you played it, and it's that sort of sense of wonder because you're like, this land is so... it's absurd, to be honest. It is, and it's because it's not like a typical fairy tale or something like that. You can't really predict what's coming next.
My favourite level to this day, and you'll see it in this run actually, or you'll see it when I'm playing this, but it's the level in Star World where you mash the blocks. Right, so you have to get in a certain path and get the key, and you just spin your way to the bottom of the level.
Yeah.
Simplicity, I suppose, isn't it?
Of course. I've seen that many times. See, me and Steve actually are the people who run the retro section at an event called Les Games. We are the retro section. And I've watched Steve play that level so many times. I'm not good at this game. I keep saying that because it is true. I'm not good. I would die multiple times. I think Steve's only died once so far.
That is once.
But it's just the once, isn't it?
That is just once.
Just the once.
This is my crowd pleaser. This is what I pull out. You'll see later, maybe in the next couple of weeks of that, I'll pull out Zelda Kikiri Forest in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll go to the Kikiri Forest with the Deku tree.
Oh, what?
Doing the Deku
We're
tree.
That's what this channel's resorting to now. Not only are we...
cheap tricks.
Not only are we nostalgia filled, but cheap tricks and breaking games is what we now do. Well. But... No, I mean, what I was trying to say is though, it's a good one, like, because Steve always comes back to it and plays it when we're at that event, and for someone who, this game doesn't have a lot of nostalgia for me, like, because I went into it a bit too old, but when he plays it, it just makes me feel like, I'm
happy inside.
I mean, basically, we're not using them just now because we need to record, but usually we use CRTs. Mm-hmm. We always stick to CRTs and make sure it feels like it would when you were 5 or 6 or 7. And it's a weird thing, a weird amount of excitement.
It's the emotion attached.
Yeah.
I think that's why people like us still exist in this day and age. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't know if it would have the same appeal for people that hadn't played it at the time. Do you think it would stand up as well with people that never played it
Mario
at the time?
would. Some games wouldn't, but Mario would. And the reason, I was at Comic Con today, the Glasgow MCM version of Comic Con, and basically what I've observed is that there's children, and I don't want to call them children, there's teenagers and things who, they've never experienced this game. They were too young. They experienced it. Maybe if they had good mums and dads, maybe their mums and dads gave them this game to play when they were younger.
Oh man, I can't.
Right, so they basically, I think that'd be the same. If basically mums and dads gave their kids to play this game to play when they were younger, then they would have the exact same experience as what you did when you were younger. Mm-hmm. Apart from it's obviously on a LED TV and they probably suck at the game because of the lag.
Yeah, probably right.
What I think is that sometimes people get into certain franchises because of newer versions of games.
Yeah, and then they go back and revisit it.
Now, we are guilty of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
We are guilty of that because...
Definitely.
Did you play Final Fantasy when you were younger? And I mean the first Final Fantasy?
No. Oh, Phil, we've lost the Yoshi.
You've lost the Yoshi.
We need to go back and get the Yoshi.
Do you want to explain what the deal is with losing the Yoshi?
So, the blue Yoshi, you need the blue Yoshi in this, I think. Aye, because you can't do it with the red Yoshi. So, you need the blue Yoshi in this level. No, I don't. And you'll see. So the blue Yoshi is a special Yoshi. So from the water level, if you bring the blue Yoshi, when he eats any kind of Koopa, he can grow wings. So in Star World, every level has a different colour of Yoshi, so you need to try and bring the blue Yoshi with you so you can do that level. And the reason that I can't do it without the Yoshi is because I never opened up the Switch Palaces. So I don't know if you'll remember if you played this game, but there were Switch Palaces in this, so I think there was a green, a red... Green, red, yellow.
Right,
and there might have been a blue Switch Palace as well. I think that was maybe in the forest.
Right.
But basically when you hit the Switch Palaces, it opens up different areas and it gives you blocks on the floor. And the only way with the Yoshi that you can get the key is by having the Switch Palace.
Right.
So you maybe have seen it earlier. I cheesed one of the levels earlier and I flew up above where you would need to activate the Switch Palace.
Aye, yeah, I saw that.
So I did that earlier. But aye, you need the Switch Palace, so I'm going to bring my good friend
Needs
back
to be.
here.
Needs to be.
Do you know what? We'll finish it through this way, so we're showing something different.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's it. I mean, this is something. Did you used to do this when you were younger as well?
Aye, so this was something that I played for hours and hours and hours and hours, and the reason that I played it for hours and hours was because I could never work out how to unlock the special levels.
Yeah.
the special levels.
It's true though. There's always like, for example, as simple as it might seem now, in Sonic 2, I think it was. I could, as a kid, I quite often never got all the Chaos Emeralds at the end.
Aye.
And
I don't think I'd ever done it, Phil. Honestly, see the Chaos Emeralds, I don't think I ever
See,
played
I
Sonic
did. I eventually got there and I managed to get the Chaos. Because what happened was, right, for some reason when I was younger, and it goes for this game as well, I suppose, when I was younger, I wanted like something for winning the game, which is weird because I don't see why you should get something for winning the game. But I did. I wanted some sort of reward, and the reward that eventually I would have got through Sonic 2 at least, or Sonic 1, I can't remember which Sonic it is.
There you go.
The reward that I would have got would have been flying around as Supersonic.
Well,
so what's the reward in this game? Is there a reward?
The reward in
this
this
game?
the reward in this game is that you unlock more levels. So basically, see that wee guy in the middle.
Yeah.
That wee guy in the middle is he unlocks 8 special levels or 10 special levels.
That's
I
right.
can't remember, but they're extreme difficulty levels.
Of course.
Do you know? I'll talk about it now, right? Because we're talking about retro games and how they've influenced you. So I work in retail. And I'm a manager in retail, and
in a very nice shop,
in a very beautiful place, as you can probably imagine. But Star World actually influenced one of the parts of my career, so this is a funny story to tell. And where I work, you have to do 3D CV presentations. You have to do 3D CV presentations when you go for interviews and stuff. And so lots of people do different things. Lots of people talk about sports. Lots of people talk about, I don't know, name something that you're passionate about and people will talk about it.
Dying.
But
in the hands of big spikes.
I chose to talk about gaming, and I spent hours and hours and hours and thinking, how can I present to somebody that I'm passionate about gaming and I love gaming, and how can I put it across in a way that people will understand? So what I did was I created a presentation based on Super Mario, and it was Star World. And what I did was I created points on the star, so all the points on the star were points relating to my life through gaming. So I had done like my family and all that, I'd put them at the top of the star and I'd put other things on it as well, but I just thought that was really nice, and it was nice for me as well to be able to show how much this game's influenced me. Do you know what I mean?
Because that was the first thing you thought to structure things in your life.
Aye.
I get it though, I get what you mean.
And through doing that presentation I actually got put forward to the next level of management because they were surprised at how passionate I was about it.
Yeah,
do you know
because
what I mean?
That was how, I mean, it was something that you would have struggled to show passion for, because let's be honest, a lot of our day jobs we don't really want to do.
No,
we don't want to do them. God bless those PewDiePies and Markipliers that make money off YouTube, because they don't need to do day jobs and they get to do what they love still. Well, I don't know, maybe they've exhausted it. But again, the point is that you were able to use something you were passionate about, really passionate about, to get you by in life. And to be honest, I think that happens with a lot of us. We use... Right, so we're back.
Well, this is awkward.
I moved my foot slightly and the SNES came flying off the TV unit and crashed.
It's alright, I've got it under control.
So Steve, basically I went away to take a breather and Steve ran through the whole entire game again.
So boss fight part 2.
So it's boss fight part 2.
Right.
And... so where were we? What were we even talking about?
I believe we were talking about the influences it's had in your life.
Yeah, so... Again, how devastated were you as a kid when you would do stupid things like knock the SNES off the unit?
It taught me valuable life lessons for the future, put it that way.
Yeah, like don't knock SNESes off of units.
No, like don't knock SNESes off of units. I'm trying to remember, just this boss fight is very intense, and I'm sure that at some point he gives you a mushroom, but I cannot remember when he gives you it.
It's quite impressive how... Well, it's not... It's great. The Mode 7 stuff there, the sort of 3D him swooping in, is quite impressive. But it's quite funny how all the stats from the top disappear.
Aye. I don't understand why it does that though. It's the only screen in the entire game that it does it.
I can only imagine
There's nothing there.
I can only imagine it's because of the power it's having to use.
Do you think?
I can only imagine, yeah.
Do you think it's the lighting effect?
could be the lighting effect, it could be anything, it could be a number of things. This level's actually pushing the system to its limits, really, isn't it? Like,
it's got a lot going on.
It's got a lot going on.
It really does on the screen at one time, and man, I just see this guy. I hate the patterns he does. So the first
This
two,
guy. He's not the legendary boss.
This guy. Well, we were talking about it earlier. Is Bowser really the bad guy? Remember that?
Is Bowser really the bad guy?
I say, is Mario an absolute narcissist?
Yeah, I think he is a narcissist.
I think he might be. He blows up everybody's castles.
I think he's suffering from
fun.
delusion.
Grandeurs of delusion.
Do
you think it? Right. Do you know we were talking there actually? Sorry to cut in. We were talking there that everything disappears through the top, but this is weird because I'm sure when I pick up the mushroom, this will reappear. So like the mushroom skin will reappear. Now the wee box appears.
Yeah.
It will show me the mushroom.
Which means they've just hid it.
I don't understand it, to be honest.
It's kind of weird. It's always quite distressing.
Yeah.
Yes, that appears.
Weirdly.
Yeah. It seems like a default thing, really. Like that can't not disappear when you get a mushroom.
Aye. No.
I don't know. But as we were saying, Mario's a narcissist.
Mario is.
There's a lovely mushroom for you.
I'm not going to be able to get that. Please don't kill me.
Oh.
Right, I need that guy. This is the last hit. I've missed it.
It's moments like this though that are just too intense to handle.
I don't think games are as hard as they used to be.
Do you believe in yourself, Steve?
I believe. Do you believe?
I believe.
You believe.
Well, I don't need to believe because I just
Bowser's
saw it.
catcher. Bowser's green.
There you go, and you've just got the lovely Princess Toadstool all to yourself. Then.
Princess Peach.
Toadstool.
Is it not Peach?
It's Toadstool.
No, we go by proper names here.
No, we don't. We go by the original names here.
Okay, Mario's blushing and everything.
He's having a wee blush to himself. She looks not very happy, as if she wasn't actually kidnapped and she was just wanting to run off with all the treasury money from the kingdom.
I wonder if she'd have been a bit happier, or she'd have looked a bit happier if I'd have saved her as a bigger version of Mario, because this version looks like a child's came to rescue.
It's true. It's like, what is the deal with that actually? What size is he supposed to be?
I don't see, is he actually, so is Mario normally the normal size of the Mushroom Man, or is that his normal size and the mushroom genetically enhances him?
Genetically enhanced like some sort of weird fungal roid.
Well, aye, so right, I get the cape thing, right? So I get how the cape works, because at the end of the day it's just a cape that makes him fly when he picks up the feather. Cape that
makes him fly, aye.
But how does the fire work? So the fire must genetically enhance him as well, because you don't just put in a suit, painter's overalls and start throwing fireballs.
Kind of weird, isn't it? That was the beauty of these games, though. They didn't have to make any sense. They didn't have to make any sense. So, summarise this game for us, Steve. Tell us, how was your retro rerun today? How did you feel about it?
I really enjoyed picking this back up again. And
apart from me sending your poor SNES flying. It's a good job you've got another 2 of these.
So that wasn't the highlight of my day, but the highlight of my day was definitely playing this. So.
It's quite funny, because I have a Super Famicom in the house, and it's got a crack on the sort of side of it, as if somebody's dropped it before. And I think it's probably for the same foolishness, to be honest.
Probably. No, I really, for me, going back and playing this game, and I don't know how long it would have been, so about 20-25 minutes, but spending the 25 minutes playing this game has actually made my day.
There you go. That's the beauty of retro games.
Mm-hmm. No, it's amazing.
Anyway, thanks for coming on board, Steve. Thanks for taking up the pad today.
Thanks very much for inviting me.
Hopefully we'll get you back on again for another retro reruns very soon.
Magic. Thanks very much.
Thanks guys for watching, and take care.